When I take my eyes off of the team perspective as the CEO, and now I'm talking to every single one of you leaders, all of you, when I take my eyes off of the team perspective, my decision making starts to get a little bit clunky and my influence starts to drop. This is something that I can never delegate. I can always invite in. And if you were on my team, you would hear me talk about the team perspective. And what you would hear me say is that how we're all doing as a team, it's up to you. And it's up to you. And it's up to you. And it's up to you, and up to you, and up to you. Our culture is up to you. But please understand, first and foremost, it's up to me. I set the tone. But I can't control how we as a team are doing. In order for me to make the best decisions and to have maximum influence, I need to see the business from the team's perspective, and I need us as a team to be together and seeing the business from the same perspective. We need to understand the critical things. If we don't, we lose so much opportunity. I want to show you something. I want to show you what it looks like when we miss this perspective, all right? In business, we as a team, all of us are working for the same thing. We want to take ground. We want our businesses to grow. Everybody, consciously or subconsciously, knows that if the business does better, if the department does better, if the team does better, we do better. We all get it. Nobody wants to come to work and just do a mediocre job or get mediocre results. We all want to excel, everybody. And the battle that we need to be focused on is the external battle. So as an organization, we, in all departments, need to be taking ground. We need to be growing. We need to be improving. So our focus needs to be on the external. Business is difficult enough as we're trying to expand and push on the outside. Because what happens is we have economic challenges. We have legislative challenges. We have competitive challenges. All these challenges come in and they try to impede our ability to take ground. And fighting all of those battles on its own is difficult enough. Where business really starts to become miserable is when not only are we focused on fighting those external battles in each and every one of our departments, where it really becomes miserable, where we become inefficient, where we start to waste time, where we start to waste money, where we start to waste emotional energy. And the truth of the matter is, when all of us as teammates start to die at work, is when that's taking place. Because no longer are we focused on external battles, we are focused on internal battles. And as a team of executive coaches, we can tell you that so much of our coaching time with leaders like you is focused on making sure that the team is aligned and you've got the right perspective so that we can get everybody focused on what matters most, which is making a greater difference with our products and services in the lives of the people that we serve, the people that use our products, that experience our services. You've got to get this one right, because I honestly see this one as the biggest game changer for all of us. I have room to improve. You have room to improve in this perspective. I've been doing this for 20 years as a coach. I've been leading in organizations for 30 now. And I can tell you, when I go home and I am beat up, when I go home and I am frustrated, when I go home and I am just not having any fun, and I'm thinking exit strategy, I can tell you 9 times out of 10, it's because of internal perspective. It's the team. I don't see it right. They don't see it the way I want them to see it. We're battling. They're battling. All of this wasted energy. Now, I said a little while ago, I said, this is something you can never take your eye off of. Don't take the perspective of team for granted. Don't say, oh yes, I've got that one, now I can move on. This is one that you look at every day. You need to take the temperature every day. This is one that you can measure with metrics. You can measure certain aspects of it with metrics. But the reason that you can't delegate it is because the metrics only tell you a part of the story. And if I need to be making decisions as a leader, and if I need to be empowering other leaders to make decisions, we need to understand how we're doing as a team. So we're always eyes on, because the moment we think we've got it licked, the moment we try to delegate it to somebody else, is the moment we start to make decisions that are less effective, that are most likely not as accurate, and we start to lose influence. And I can just tell you, so many coaching sessions with so many amazing gifted leaders, so much energy, so much inefficiency, so much waste, so much heartache, so much stress, so much loss of fun and energy and meaning, because we're not doing the difficult work to make sure that we see the business from this perspective. So, with that being said, I want to walk you through a few absolutes that will help you to see the business from your team's perspective and to make sure that you've got it. The first way for you to understand the perspective of the team and to really get it is by improving the questions that you ask. The questions that we ask as leaders, they need to be the courageous questions. You've seen it. I've seen it here. You know, one of the most powerful questions that I can ask as a leader, not of just my direct reports, but anybody in the organization, is the question backed up with the time for the answer. The question being, how are you doing? Not, morning, how you doing? Don't ask the question if you don't have the time for the answer. Because if we want to be connected with our team, and if we really want the perspective of our team, then we have to actually make the time. It has to be built into our schedule so that we can hear the answer. How you doing? How was your weekend? What was the high? This isn't something you do if you're a friendly person. This isn't something you do if you're an extrovert. This isn't something you do if on the behavioral profile you're a high I. This is what you do if you want to see the business from the team's perspective. This is something you do because you truly understand the value, the horsepower, the energy, the momentum that comes from having a connected team that knows you care for them. And I know some of you, it's not as easy because of your wiring. Maybe you're not as extroverted. Maybe you're a bit more introverted. Maybe that's uncomfortable. I will tell you, just like going to the gym and working out a new body part, you can develop the muscles to care more. Listen to what Bob said. The big takeaway for you here, if you want to see the business from the team's perspective, you ask, how are you? You make the time to do it. My team will tell you, and please don't take this as I am bragging or I'm feeling good about myself. That isn't it, because I do so many things poorly. I really do. And my team can tell you. When I walk through the doors of the office, I try the majority of the time, especially at the beginning of the week, to walk the floor. And to have the time to do it, to get in early enough before the first ring of the bell, to walk the floor. We have teammates on the 4th floor and the 3rd floor. The 3rd floor is always harder for me because I have to go out and down, and I don't time it right because I need to make time for the responses. And I love that connecting part. And I am told all of the time how that is meaningful. How are you? The next question you want to ask is, how are we doing? No, really, how are we as a business doing? Coach Shannon, when she was leading operations, she challenged me back in March. She said, Daniel, I don't think you are asking the right questions. Let me confess. There are times where I don't have the courage to ask the right questions. I'm probably the only sissy la-la in the room that has experienced that, but I really don't want to hear it because I'm afraid of hearing it. I like to live in Mary Poppins land, you know? So good. We're awesome. Are we happy? I love it there. I love it there. But I know if I stay there for too long, I will be losing that perspective of team, and I will start to make decisions and lose influence because I'm not dealing with reality. How are we doing? The next question, what's going really well here? This isn't all about just trying to find out where we have gaps and where we're miserable. This is about us wanting to know as leaders, hey, what's going well? Why do you want to know what's going well from your teammates? What's going well? Why do you want to know that? It's part of reality. Then you can celebrate. Then you can, in that, understand where you have opportunity. You can, in that, understand where there's an opportunity for training, where there's an opportunity for more investment, where there's an opportunity for more focus, where there's an opportunity for broader communication. What's going well? Great leadership is not about always asking what's going poorly. We have to ask both. We gain clarity on team and on this perspective by finding out all of it. Now, the truth of the matter is, that's an easy question. Hey, what's going well? Unless they come back with nothing, then that requires courage, right? So that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in my organization, and it doesn't happen in yours. And the truth of the matter is, if you do hear that nothing's going well, then it's time to pray or it's time to fire. I mean, that's the reality of it. So what's going well? The next question, even more courage. Where do we have gaps? Where do we have gaps? If we can ask that in all departments from several teammates as leaders, we're getting the real information. It's unfiltered. I've done executive work with leadership teams where some of the battles in the boardroom, in the executive cabinet, have been, why are you talking to my people? Where you have executive VPs, senior VPs, upset with CEO. Why are you asking these things of my people? All birthed out of insecurity and the lack of clarity with regards to what makes for a healthy team. As leaders, whether you're a CEO, VP, department head, whatever it may be, you need to let everybody in the organization know that you have the freedom to talk to anybody about everything. Not because you're sitting there wanting to come around the backside of your leaders. That's not it at all. I trust you. If you don't trust them, they shouldn't be in that position. They should know and be confident in the fact that they are trusted leaders in your organization. But the reason that we want to talk to people at all levels is because we want the raw, unfiltered. We want to get the pulse. And not only that, we want our teammates to know we care, not just our direct reports. And the way that these people know that they care is when they know that they have access to you, when they know they can share their opinions and perspectives of where we have gaps, of what's going well. So maybe that's the big opportunity. In order for you to improve the team's perspective, you're asking those types of questions of the right people. How can we, as an organization, help you to be more successful in your role? You want to see the business from the team's perspective? We need to know. We need to know. Is it training? Is it systems? Is it resources? You need to know that. That's a basic one. How can I help you? How can we as an organization help you to be more successful in your role? Here's one that takes courage. And over time, if you're a transparent leader, which I would encourage each and every one of you to be, don't fake it. Hey, right now it's a rough season in our business. It's rough. Margins are thin. We lost a major client. We've had 3 defects. We didn't deliver on these 2 products. We've got a little bit of competition that's throwing us under the bus. It's tough right now. I myself, I've made a couple poor decisions. I haven't been myself. I need help right now. If I'm doing that, then this next question, I'll get really good feedback from. And the next question is, what do I need to be aware of in my role that you think I might be blind to? Where are my blind spots? I was with an executive team just a couple weeks ago. And this in itself was probably the greatest takeaway for the team. Because everybody in the room was a bit intimidated by the leader. And they don't have the courage to tell him. They don't have the courage to tell him what he's missing. And in that, without that perspective, the decisions he's making are not as good as they could be, and the influence he has is less than it could be. Now, here was the amazing thing. When the leader heard this, because in my role I get to pull that stuff out, the leader's like, I'm so sorry. I want to hear. I am so sorry that I present that image. That is not who I want to be. I do not want people surrounding me and telling me yes and how good I am and how great everything is. I want people with the courage to tell me what I'm missing. I want people around me who have my back and who will tell me that. So if I've been sending off that energy to you, to where I'm saying don't, or I've come back at you, okay, now here's a key. When people finally do get up the courage on your team to share with you what you need to be aware of or what you're missing, the moment you try to defend it is the moment you just said, don't ever do that again. And our insecurities, big boys and girls, it shuts this door all the time. It's our insecurities. Now, here's the really cool thing. I shared this at a few experiences ago. There was a big aha for me within the last 10 years. And the big aha for me, as I did my kind of year review in December, was I became crystal clear of how little I really know. And when you come to grips with how little you really know, you're totally comfortable with it. Because now there's all of this opportunity to grow and learn. I know so little. Oh my gosh, I need a lot of help. Think about it. Like, I really know very little. Well, what are you talking about, Daniel? Everything. Like everything. One of the houses we went to last night, they were watching football. My team knows. Hey, Harkavy, what's going on right now? There's a game. I actually made the mistake. There were 40 seconds left in the game. I'm not paying attention. All right, team, we're out of here. We're going to the next one. And they're like looking at me going, how do you leave a game with 40 seconds left? I don't know. I do. Let's go. We stayed. There was a good team lesson in that. When you are comfortable with how little you know, then you can ask these questions. Hey, what do I need to be aware of that I'm missing? And when they give it to you, your first response has got to be a curiosity, like, I want more, and then thank you. Thank you. There are times when you put yourself into this position where you're going to get hit. You might get sucker punched a few times. It's worth it. It's worth it, because 8, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get information that helps you better see the team's perspective. A great strategy that we've talked about from the stage for the last few days is, hey, what do we need to keep doing and start doing and stop doing in order to be more successful internally? Or what do we need to keep, start, stop doing in order for you to be more successful in your role? Just a great tool. You know what? This next question is a controversial one, and I've heard leaders debate on this one. And the question is, where do you think you can make the greatest contribution to our organization? Here's the fear in this, and I've had some head-to-heads with leaders on this. The argument against this is, well, if they have the belief that they can make the greatest contribution in a role that they have absolutely no ability in or experience in, by you asking them, then they will expect it. And I think that is lame. Because the way I look at it is, I want to know. I want to know. And then it's up to me as a leader, up to you as a leader, to deal with that individual and to either help them get to that place, either in your organization or elsewhere, or to have a truthful conversation with them. But the beauty of it is, if you know, then what you can do is, from a team's perspective, as you're looking at the business and you're looking at the bench, and as leaders, we need to be doing this. Who are we grooming? How are we building leadership capacity? I'm seeing the business from the team's perspective, and what I'm looking at is, who could lead here? Who could operate over there? Who could fill this hole? Who can develop here? You don't want to see people and limit them to just the role that they're in. You always want to be looking for, how can they grow? And you know what? Oftentimes, they see it long before you do. So ask. You're now dealing with reality. They're talking to their spouses about it. They're talking to one another about it. All you're doing is saying, I want to know. The way that we gain improved perspective on the team is we ask the right questions. All right? Then we're on the lookout. What do you see as leaders? What are you looking for? That's the second way you gain more clarity around the team's perspective. The first one, you're asking the right questions. The second one is you're looking for the right clues. So what are you looking for? What do you see? This is like one of the oldest management principles out there, but I'm going to still say, I know with absolute assuredness that 60 to 70% of you don't do this. And all of you know what it is, but you do not walk the floor. And you know what? I don't want to hear the argument. Okay, if you work in a global organization where all of your direct reports, and I know there's some in the room, where all of your direct reports are scattered across the world locations, then the way you walk the floor today is through technology. You still have to make connecting with people and just being present with them a priority. It needs to be one of your non-negotiable disciplines as a leader. It's that just walking the floor and looking. You can see it. How are people doing? What are they doing? What are they talking about? You're watching. You've got to be doing the connecting, and you need to be taking that in because it's helping you with the intuitive part of leadership. And if you don't make time for it, the decisions you make and the influence you have won't be what it could be. And here's another one where I know the majority of you know this, but I'm going to say the minority do it. And that is scheduled, well prepared for one-on-ones. Scheduled, well prepared for one-on-ones. Not one-on-ones that you fly into 7 minutes late, which right there shows disrespect and a lack of value. But you show up and you don't have clarity around how you want the meeting to end. In my book, Becoming a Coaching Leader, I actually map out a strategy and how you prepare and a system for you. And it's straightforward. It is how-to. It will help you with one-on-ones. It will help you. It will help you with the rhythm. It will help you to prepare, and it will help you to make those one-on-ones even more productive. But I've worked with way too many leaders that don't have files, whether it be hard copy or soft copy, for their one-on-ones with their direct reports. They're not taking in the right notes. They're not following up on the key things. They're not asking the right questions. They're not keeping track of what's most important with each of their direct reports. And then as a result of that, they're not talking about the most important things in their one-on-ones, if they're even having them. And I can sit down with any leader in any organization. I don't care what level. I can tell you can improve execution, improve team culture, improve performance if you will make this a priority. There's a rhythm, there's a schedule, there's a preparedness, there's a focus, and there are the right things to talk about in your one-on-ones. That might be the way that you improve your perspective of team. The next is your meeting rhythms, all right? The different types of meetings that you have so that you can gain perspective on the team, and the timing of those, the cadence, the preparedness. Here's an easy one for improving in the team's perspective. It's one that I've seen so many times with leaders, and that is when we call for meetings or we go into meetings, there's a few things we need to know every single time. What's the desired end result of the meeting? And topic by topic, who's the decision maker? What's the desired end result and who's the decision maker? If we can gain clarity there, then we gain more clarity on the team's perspective. And we help the team to align around what matters most. So certain meetings are just check-ins. How are we doing? What are we working on? Any crisis, anything in the red zone today? Other meetings are the tactical updates, the health of the business, what's happening big this week. Other meetings on a less frequent basis with more time allocated are the strategic bet reviews. We have the big planning meetings where we're not going to talk about any of the little tactical or client or circumstantial challenges. We can't focus down at ground level during these more strategic reviews, when we're having the bigger planning meetings. We're going to stay up here in the strategic. We're going to be focusing on that future state, long-term vision, and strategic bets. And we need meetings to where that's all we talk about. The natural pull for all of us is we schedule these meetings, and then where do we end up all spending our time talking? All right here in current reality. Well, hey, did you know this happened last week? You know, we've got this situation right now. You know, next we've got to do that. And we miss the opportunity in staying up here. And I've had conversations with you here this week where you're saying, I just keep continually getting pulled back to current reality. In our meetings, this is where we're going. And I need to improve meetings and time here. What are you looking for? What are you looking for in those meetings? What are we talking about? We're looking for the right things. The way we see perspective is we've got to have some open door. And I'll tell you, in our company, this one's a tough one because we're scheduled out for a year. It's brutal, but there has to be time for the open door. There has to be time. One of the things that we do is we do the gym time at lunch. That's open door for me. Anyone can go run with me. Anybody can go to the gym with me. That's my open door time. Let's go connect there. We're doing a few cool things. We're taking care of ourselves, we're refreshing our minds, and we're connecting. I love going to the gym with Carlos or going for a run with Todd. I love that with any of the team members that will join me there. It's great. It's time to connect. It's open door time. It doesn't need to be just you sitting in the office with the door open, but you make that time to get out and just have those conversations. The next way we see the team's perspectives, we observe them doing what they're doing. That's one of the greatest things for me at the experience. I love watching my team work with you. You guys are amazing, like amazing. If I could tell you as a team how many compliments that I get here at the experience and then throughout the year on how awesome each and every one of you are, I hear it all the time. And when I get to observe you, it tells me so much about the health of our organization, the alignment of our organization. What you're doing when you're engaging with all of these folks is you are absolutely showing this is where we're going. We get the vision. We understand current reality. We understand the emphasis on this strategy of the experience. I watch you. It's cool. Watch your teammates doing their work. Watch your teammates engaging with those that buy your product or experience your service. Watch how they engage with the customer. It will tell you so much. You'll see deficits. If you're sitting there expecting, second mile service and you're expecting wow service, you're expecting it across the organization. Listen to how your receptionist, the director of first impressions, greets clients and prospective clients. Watch it. Watch how he or she greets people as they come through the office door. I strategically put my office right next to the receptionist desk. I chose that office when we moved into that place years ago. Not in the back corner. I wanted to be able to hear it and to feel it. And Shannon Miho, I am calling you out. You are a rock star. You are a rock star. Shannon can tell you, when we first hired Shannon, just as people who have had your role before you in the last 20 years, the most important thing is you reach through the phone and you hug people in because they're so important. When the UPS guy comes in, when a prospective client comes in, people from accounting call in, it's got to be different here. And you live it. And you know what? That helps me to understand the team's perspective. When I'm sitting there and I'm watching and I'm listening, helps me to make better decisions. So I observe them with our clients. All right? The final biggie, I think I need to just restate, because so many of us want to see the business from the team's perspective on just a spreadsheet or a series of reports. And I'm going to tell you, it only tells part of the story. You've got to be engaged with the team. You've got to be present. You've got to be front and center. You've got to feel it. You've got to listen to it. You've got to watch it. And it's got to be one of the most important aspects of your role, leaders. It's so important. It's so important. Our culture plays such a significant role in how we deliver our products and our services to the marketplace. And I said yesterday, the businesses we want to be working with are businesses that are led by leaders that see building leadership capacity, culture, as not just a strategic advantage, but a corporate responsibility. And that's what I want to challenge each and every one of you to, is culture, team, leadership capacity, building people up. It's a strategic advantage. It's a game changer. And some of you work for companies where your leaders are like, yes, that is it for me. That's the bullseye. That's the center of the target. And in your cultures, you're getting noticed as a result of that by everybody in your communities. And it's fantastic. But it's up to us as leaders to continue to promote that and to propel that. Every one of us, we're the ones that do it, regardless of your role. When we do it, we see the business from this perspective, better decisions, more influence, leadership legacy continues to climb.